A 70-year-old mystery may finally be solved that involves tons of gold and jewels stolen by Nazi thieves.
From sunken submarines to secret bunkers, artifacts from World War II continue to provide insights into one of the most defining periods in the history of mankind. So join us as we embark on a journey through time to uncover the hidden treasures, mysterious relics, and astonishing findings that have emerged from the chaos of the war. Here are the 15 most incredible discoveries from World War II. Number 15. USS Arizona Memorial. The USS Arizona, a Pennsylvania-class battleship, met a tragic fate during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. This event catapulted the United States into World War II and left an indelible mark on American history. Today, the wreck of the USS Arizona is a significant archaeological site. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a meticulously planned surprise offensive by the Japanese Imperial Navy, aiming to cripple the U.S. Pacific Fleet. At 7:55 a.m., the first wave of Japanese aircraft descended upon the harbor, and the USS Arizona, moored in Battleship Row, became one of the primary targets. A bomb penetrated the ship's forward magazine, causing a catastrophic explosion that engulfed the vessel in flames. In a matter of moments, the Arizona sank, taking with it the lives of 1,177 crew members, nearly half of the total casualties at Pearl Harbor. The wreck of the USS Arizona was left in its watery grave, a symbol of the sacrifice made that day. In 1962, the USS Arizona Memorial was dedicated, straddling the sunken battleship without touching it. This white structure, accessible by boat, honors the memory of those who perished. It allows visitors to gaze upon the ship's remains beneath the water, where oil, known as the tears of the Arizona, still leaks to this day. The USS Arizona Memorial attracts millions of visitors each year as researchers and divers have studied the wreck extensively. Number 14. Enigma machine. The Enigma machine was a cipher device used by the German military during World War II to send encrypted messages. Its capture and subsequent decryption by the Allies were pivotal events that significantly influenced the war's outcome. The Enigma machine, invented by the German engineer Arthur Scherbius in the 1920s, was adopted by the Wehrmacht, Luftwaffe, and Kriegsmarine to secure military communications. The machine featured a complex system of rotating rotors and plugboard settings, which allowed for an astronomical number of possible encryption combinations. This made the Enigma code appear unbreakable. However, the Allies' determination and ingenuity turned the tide. Polish mathematicians were the first to crack the Enigma codes in the 1930s, providing valuable information to British intelligence. When World War II erupted, the baton was passed to the cryptanalysts at Bletchley Park, Britain's top-secret code-breaking center. Alan Turing, a brilliant mathematician, led the effort to decipher Enigma. Turing and his team developed the bomb, an electromechanical device that could simulate the workings of the Enigma machine and test numerous rotor settings quickly. The capture of several Enigma machines and codebooks provided crucial intelligence that aided their efforts. The turning point came in 1941, when the British seized a complete Enigma machine from the German weather ship Lauenburg. By breaking Enigma, the Allies gained access to a treasure trove of information, which they codenamed Ultra. This intelligence allowed them to anticipate German movements, plan counterattacks, and avoid ambushes. It played a crucial role in several key battles, including the Battle of the Atlantic, where it helped to neutralize the U-boat threat, and the D-Day invasion, where it ensured the success of the Normandy landings by misleading the Germans about the invasion's location. The secrecy surrounding Ultra was paramount. If the Germans had known their codes were compromised, they would have changed their encryption methods. The Allies' ability to keep this breakthrough under wraps while leveraging the intelligence effectively was a remarkable feat of wartime strategy. Number 13. Hitler's Fuhrerbunker. During World War II, Adolf Hitler's secret bunkers, especially the infamous Fuhrerbunker in Berlin, captured the world's imagination and provided deep insights into the Nazi regime's fortifications and Hitler's final days. These bunkers were part of an extensive network designed to protect Nazi leaders and military operations from Allied attacks. The Fuhrerbunker, located beneath the Reich Chancellery in Berlin, was the most notable of these bunkers. Constructed in two phases between 1936 and 1944, it consisted of two interconnected levels, the Vorbunker and the deeper Fuhrerbunker. The Fuhrerbunker, completed in 1944, was reinforced with thick concrete walls and ceilings, designed to withstand heavy bombing. It featured a series of rooms, including Hitler's private quarters, conference rooms, and living spaces for his closest aides. As the war turned against Germany, Hitler increasingly retreated to the Fuhrerbunker. By January 1945, he had relocated there permanently as Soviet forces closed in on Berlin. The bunker became the nerve center of the Nazi regime, but it was also a claustrophobic prison where Hitler's paranoia and desperation grew. Inside its oppressive walls, Hitler held frantic meetings, issued feudal orders, and witnessed the collapse of his empire. The Fuhrerbunker is most famously associated with Hitler's final days. In April 1945, with Berlin under siege and the end inevitable, Hitler married Eva Braun within the bunker. On April 30th, 1945, he and Braun committed suicide, their bodies later being burned in the bunker's garden to avoid capture. This act marked the effective end of the Third Reich. Other bunkers, like the Wolf's Lair in East Prussia and the Berghof in Bavaria, also played critical roles in Nazi strategy and Hitler's personal life. The Wolf's Lair, hidden deep in the forests of present-day Poland, served as Hitler's Eastern Front military headquarters and was the site of the famous July 20th, 1944 assassination attempt on his life. Today, most of these bunkers lie in ruins, but their remnants offer a chilling glimpse into the last chapter of the Nazi regime. Number 12. Amber Room. The Amber Room, originally located in the Catherine Palace of Tsarskoye Selo near St. Petersburg, is one of the most legendary and enigmatic artifacts of World War II. Known as the Eighth Wonder of the World, this opulent chamber was adorned with amber panels, gold leaf, and mirrors, creating a breathtaking display of artistry and craftsmanship. The Amber Room was created in the early 18th century by German craftsmen Andreas Schlüter and Gottfried Wolfram. Initially installed in Charlottenburg Palace in Berlin, it was later gifted to Peter the Great of Russia by Prussia's King Frederick William V in 1716 as a symbol of diplomatic goodwill. Peter had it installed in the Catherine Palace, where it was expanded and embellished to reach its peak splendor. During World War II, the fate of the Amber Room took a dark turn. In 1941, as Nazi forces advanced on Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, curators attempted to hide the room by covering the amber panels with wallpaper. However, the Nazis discovered and dismantled the room, packing it into crates and shipping it to Königsberg Castle in East Prussia, modern-day Kaliningrad, Russia. From this point on, the Amber Room vanished into the fog of war. Despite numerous investigations and tantalizing leads, its whereabouts remain one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Some believe it was destroyed during the Allied bombing of Königsberg in 1944, while others speculate it was hidden in a secret location, awaiting rediscovery. The search for the Amber Room has captivated treasure hunters and historians alike. Numerous expeditions have scoured Europe, from underground bunkers in Germany to remote mines in the Czech Republic. But the room's fate remains elusive. In 2003, a meticulous reconstruction of the Amber Room was completed in the Catherine Palace, based on original photographs and surviving documents. Number 11. Anne Frank's Diary. Anne Frank's diary, discovered after World War II, is one of the most powerful personal accounts of life during the Nazi occupation. It provides a deeply human perspective on the horrors of the Holocaust through the eyes of a young Jewish girl. Anne Frank was born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1929, but her family fled to Amsterdam in 1933 to escape Nazi persecution. In 1942, As the Nazi threat intensified, the Franks went into hiding in a secret annex behind her father's business premises. They were joined by another family, the Van Pels, and a dentist, Fritz Pfeffer. For over 2 years, Anne chronicled their life in hiding, capturing the fears, hopes, and daily struggles of living in constant fear of discovery. Anne's diary, which she affectionately named Kitty, began as a private journal but evolved into a detailed record of her experiences, thoughts, and emotions. She wrote about the cramped conditions, the tension among the inhabitants, and her dreams of a better future. Her entries reveal a mature and perceptive mind, reflecting on human nature and the injustices of the world around her. In August 1944, the secret annex was betrayed, and its occupants were arrested by the Gestapo. Anne and her sister Margot were eventually deported to the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, where they died of typhus in early 1945, just weeks before the camp was liberated. After the war, Otto Frank, the sole survivor of the family, returned to Amsterdam and discovered Anne's diary. Recognizing its importance, he arranged for its publication in 1947 under the title, The Diary of a Young Girl. The diary has since been translated into numerous languages and has touched millions of readers worldwide. Anne Frank's diary's writings have inspired generations to reflect on the consequences of hatred, the importance of tolerance, and human rights. Number 10. Yamashita Treasure. The Yamashita treasure, named after Japanese General Tomoyuki Yamashita, is one of the most captivating legends to emerge from World War II. According to legend, this massive hoard of gold, jewels, and other valuables was looted by the Japanese Imperial Army from Southeast Asia and hidden in the Philippines to prevent its capture by Allied forces. General Yamashita, known as the Tiger of Malaya for his successful campaigns in Southeast Asia, is said to have orchestrated the concealment of the treasure. As Japan faced imminent defeat in 1944 and 1945, Yamashita and his troops supposedly buried the loot in a series of secret underground tunnels and caves throughout the Philippines. Booby traps and complex maze-like structures were allegedly used to protect these caches. The legend of the Yamashita treasure gained widespread attention after the war. Many treasure hunters, spurred by rumors and sporadic finds of gold bars and artifacts, embarked on perilous quests to unearth the hidden fortune. One of the most famous seekers was Rogelio Roxas, a Filipino locksmith who claimed to have discovered part of the treasure in a tunnel in Baguio City in the 1970s. Roxas's find led to legal battles and further fueled the treasure's mystique. Despite numerous expeditions and millions of dollars spent on searches, the Yamashita treasure has never been definitively found. Skeptics argue that the treasure is a myth, while others believe it remains hidden, waiting to be discovered. Some theories suggest that the treasure was recovered by the US government or other entities shortly after the war, though no concrete evidence supports these claims. Number 9. The Auschwitz concentration camp. The Auschwitz concentration camp, located in German-occupied Poland, stands as a harrowing symbol of the Holocaust's horrors. Established by the Nazis in 1940, Auschwitz became the largest and most infamous of the concentration and extermination camps, where over 1.1 million people, primarily Jews, were systematically murdered. Auschwitz consisted of 3 main camps: Auschwitz I, the original concentration camp, Auschwitz II-Birkenau, an extermination camp, and Auschwitz III-Monowitz, a labor camp. Auschwitz II-Birkenau was the primary site of the mass killings, equipped with gas chambers and crematoria to execute and dispose of the bodies. The camp's liberation on January 27, 1945, by Soviet forces exposed the brutal reality of the Nazi genocide. The soldiers were met with scenes of unimaginable horror: piles of corpses, emaciated survivors, and remnants of the Nazis' systematic extermination process. The liberators found thousands of sick and starving prisoners who had been left behind as the SS attempted to cover up their crimes by forcing many inmates on death marches to other camps. The discovery of Auschwitz revealed the extent of the Holocaust to the world. testimonies from survivors and physical evidence, including personal belongings, piles of human hair, and the remains of the gas chambers, provided undeniable proof of the atrocities committed. The camp's liberation brought to light the meticulous planning and industrial scale of the Nazis' final solution. In the aftermath of the war, Auschwitz became a symbol of the Holocaust and a site of mourning and remembrance. It was preserved as a museum and memorial to educate future generations about the dangers of hatred, intolerance, and genocide. Millions of visitors from around the world come to Auschwitz each year to pay their respects and to ensure that the horrors of the Holocaust are never forgotten. Number 8. Operation Mincemeat. Operation Mincemeat, a daring deception operation during World War II, exemplified the ingenious use of espionage to mislead the Axis powers. Conceived by British intelligence, the operation involved planting false documents on a dead body, strategically placed to deceive the Nazis about Allied invasion plans. In April 1943, British intelligence officers launched Operation Mincemeat off the coast of Spain. They placed the body of a fictitious Royal Marine officer, Major William Martin, carrying fabricated documents detailing plans for an Allied invasion of Greece and Sardinia. The documents suggested that these locations were the Allies' intended targets for their next major offensive. The body, dressed in a Royal Marine uniform and carrying a briefcase containing the documents, was intentionally allowed to wash ashore in Spain, where it was discovered by Spanish authorities. The information was eventually passed on to the German intelligence services, who took the bait. The deception was bolstered by a carefully crafted backstory for Major Martin, complete with personal letters and items to lend authenticity to his identity. The impact of Operation Mincemeat was profound. The false information convinced the German High Command, including Hitler himself, that Greece and Sardinia were the true targets of the upcoming Allied invasion. This diverted German resources and attention away from the actual invasion target, Sicily. The successful deception contributed significantly to the Allied victory in the Sicilian campaign, which paved the way for the invasion of mainland Italy and ultimately the liberation of Europe. Operation Mincemeat remains celebrated as one of the most audacious and effective deceptions in military history. Number 7. The Lost Squadrons of Greenland. During World War II, Greenland became a critical strategic location for Allied forces, serving as a refueling and staging point for aircraft flying between Europe and North America. The harsh Arctic conditions, however, posed significant challenges to pilots, leading to several aircraft crash landings and the formation of what became known as the Lost Squadron. The Lost Squadron refers to a group of American military aircraft that crash-landed on the Greenland ice sheet between 1942 and 1944. These aircraft, primarily P-38 Lightning fighter planes and B-17 Flying Fortress bombers, were forced to make emergency landings due to adverse weather conditions, mechanical failures, or navigational errors. One of the most famous incidents involved a flight of 6 P-38 Lightning fighters and 2 B-17 bombers on July 15, 1942. They were en route to England, but encountered severe weather over Greenland. Unable to reach their destination, the pilots crash-landed their planes on the ice sheet and miraculously survived. Over time, these aircraft were buried under accumulating snow and gradually became entombed in the glacier. In the decades following World War II, efforts were made to locate and recover these lost aircraft. The extreme conditions and remote location of the crash sites posed significant logistical challenges, but advances in technology and determination eventually led to successful recoveries. Archaeologists, historians, and aviation enthusiasts uncovered remarkably preserved aircraft, offering a glimpse into the daily lives of pilots and the conditions they faced during the war. The recovered planes were meticulously restored and are now displayed in museums. Number 6. Ghost Army. The Ghost Army, officially known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, was a highly secretive and innovative tactical deception unit deployed during World War II. Comprising artists, designers, and engineers, the Ghost Army specialized in creating elaborate illusions and deceptive tactics to mislead and confuse enemy forces. Activated in 1944, the Ghost Army's primary mission was to deceive the Axis powers about Allied troop movements and intentions. They employed a variety of creative techniques, including inflatable tanks, trucks, and artillery pieces, which were strategically positioned to create the illusion of a large military force. These decoys, known as dummy tanks, and rubber dummies, were inflated and painted to resemble real military vehicles from a distance. In addition to visual deception, the Ghost Army utilized sophisticated sound effects to further enhance their illusions. They broadcast recordings of tank movements, artillery fire, and troop activities using powerful speakers and sound equipment. These audio simulations, combined with the visual decoys, created a convincing impression of a heavily fortified and mobilized army. The Ghost Army's operations were crucial during several key campaigns, including the Battle of Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge. Their deceptions successfully diverted enemy attention and resources away from actual Allied troop concentrations, thereby contributing to the success of Allied military operations. Despite their vital role, the Ghost Army's activities remained classified for decades after the war. It was not until the 1990s that their contributions to the war effort were declassified and publicly recognized. All right, guys, it's time for our subscribers pick. This image you're looking at is a discovery made in 2015, deep in the Argentine jungle, when explorers unearthed a mysterious Nazi artifact, a large, swastika-emblazoned crate. Inside the crate, researchers speculated they might find lost Nazi treasures or documents, and more importantly, a preserved body in a military uniform, resembling Adolf Hitler. While conspiracy theories abound about Hitler's fate, historians affirm his suicide in Berlin in 1945. Nonetheless, the juxtaposition of the crate and the body fueled wild theories and a frenzy of media coverage. But if this is not Adolf Hitler's body, who do you think it might be? You can share your thoughts in the comments section. Number 5. The USS Indianapolis. The USS Indianapolis, a Portland-class heavy cruiser, played a pivotal but tragic role in World War II. Most famously known for delivering components of the atomic bomb that would later be dropped on Hiroshima, the ship met a harrowing fate that remains one of the war's most heartbreaking naval disasters. On July 30th, 1945, shortly after completing its top-secret mission to deliver parts of the atomic bomb to Tinian Island, the USS Indianapolis was struck by torpedoes fired from a Japanese submarine, the I-58. The torpedoes caused catastrophic damage, sinking the ship within 12 minutes. Of the approximately 1,196 crew members aboard, only 316 survived the initial sinking. The surviving crew faced a grueling ordeal of exposure, dehydration, and shark attacks while awaiting rescue in the open ocean. Due to a communication mishap and the secrecy surrounding the ship's mission, the USS Indianapolis was not immediately reported missing, leading to a delay in rescue efforts. It was only after several days that a patrol aircraft accidentally spotted survivors in the water. The discovery of the wreck of the USS Indianapolis in 2017, over 7 decades after its sinking, brought closure to the families of those who perished. The wreckage, found in the Philippine Sea by a team led by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, provided insights into the final moments of the ship. Number 4. Nazi Gold Train. The Nazi Gold Train is a legendary and controversial story from World War II, centered around the alleged discovery of a hidden train filled with gold, treasures, and valuable artifacts. According to various accounts, during the closing stages of the war in 1945, as Nazi Germany faced imminent defeat, a train laden with looted valuables was secretly sent from Wrocław in southwestern Poland towards modern-day Poland. The train's exact contents and destination remain shrouded in mystery, but speculation suggests it may have carried gold bullion, art treasures, jewelry, and possibly even sensitive documents or scientific materials. The train's purpose was likely to transport these valuable assets away from advancing Allied forces, possibly to fund the German war effort or to secure assets for a post-war escape plan. In recent years, the legend of the Nazi gold train gained renewed attention when in 2015, two amateur treasure hunters claimed to have located the train buried in a secret tunnel near the town of Wałbrzych in Poland. They based their discovery on ground-penetrating radar scans that appeared to show the outline of a long, buried object consistent with a train. However, subsequent investigations by Polish authorities and experts have yielded inconclusive results, with no physical evidence of the train's existence being conclusively found. Skeptics argue that the legend may be a product of wartime rumors and post-war speculation, amplified by tales of hidden Nazi treasures and the allure of lost riches. Number 3. The USS Richard Montgomery. The USS Richard Montgomery was a Liberty ship built during World War II, designed to transport munitions and other supplies crucial to the Allied war effort. Launched in 1943, this vessel played a pivotal role in supporting the war until it met a dramatic and dangerous fate in 1944. On August 20th, 1944, the USS Richard Montgomery was anchored in the Thames estuary near Sheerness, England, carrying a substantial cargo of munitions, including bombs, shells, and other explosives intended for use in the ongoing conflict. During its stay, the ship ran aground on a sandbank, causing severe damage to its hull. Despite efforts to unload the dangerous cargo and refloat the ship, the operation was not completed before the vessel broke apart, leaving the munitions on board. The shipwreck of the USS Richard Montgomery still lies at the bottom of the Thames estuary, with an estimated 1,400 tons of explosives remaining on board. This makes it one of the most potentially hazardous shipwrecks in the world. The exact contents include a variety of high-explosive bombs, many of which are still intact and pose a significant risk of detonation. Efforts to deal with the wreck have been cautious due to the potential for a massive explosion, which could cause significant damage to nearby infrastructure and endanger lives. The wreck is regularly monitored by authorities to assess any changes in its condition and to ensure that the risks are managed as effectively as possible. Number 2. The Bad Arolsen Archives. The Bad Arolsen Archives, located in Bad Arolsen, Germany, are one of the most significant repositories of information on the victims of Nazi persecution during World War II. Officially known as the International Tracing Service, ITS, these archives were established in 1943 to document the fate of those persecuted by the Nazi regime, including Jews, political prisoners, forced laborers, and other targeted groups. The archives house an extensive collection of over 30 million documents, including concentration camp records, transport lists, forced labor records, and post-war documents related to displaced persons and survivors. These documents provide detailed information about the identities, movements, and fates of millions of individuals affected by Nazi atrocities. After the war, the Allied powers took control of the archives to aid in the tracing and identification of missing persons and survivors. The ITS, managed by the International Committee of the Red Cross until 2013, has since been overseen by an international commission representing 11 member states. The archives were kept closed to the public for many years due to privacy concerns and the sensitive nature of the information. In 2007, the archives were finally opened to researchers and the general public, allowing access to invaluable historical data and personal records. This opening marked a significant moment in Holocaust research and remembrance, providing survivors, descendants, and historians with crucial tools to uncover individual stories and broader historical truths. The Bad Arolsen archives continue to play a vital role in Holocaust education and research. They help families trace the fates of their relatives, support reparations and justice initiatives, and contribute to the preservation of historical memory. The archive's digitization efforts have made millions of documents accessible online, further expanding their reach and impact. Number 1. U-boats wreck. German U-boats, submarines, played a critical role in the Battle of the Atlantic during World War II. Aiming to disrupt Allied shipping and cut off supply lines, these stealthy vessels wreaked havoc on convoys, sinking countless merchant ships and warships. However, the relentless Allied countermeasures led to the loss of many U-boats, creating an underwater graveyard of these formidable machines. Over 1,100 U-boats were commissioned by the Kriegsmarine during the war, but by its end, nearly 800 had been lost. These wrecks are now valuable historical artifacts, offering insights into naval warfare, technological advancements, and life aboard these submarines. One of the most famous wrecks is U-505, captured intact by the U.S. Navy in June 1944. Its capture provided the Allies with crucial intelligence, including codebooks and an Enigma machine, aiding in breaking German codes. U-505 is now a museum exhibit at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, allowing the public to explore its preserved interior and learn about its history. Another famous wreck is that of the U-166, sunk in the Gulf of Mexico in 1942, was discovered in 2001, revealing its final resting place near the ship it had attacked, the SS Robert E. Lee. This discovery provided a tangible connection to the Gulf's wartime history and underscored the reach of U-boat operations. The wrecks also highlight the perilous conditions faced by U-boat crews. Living in cramped, damp, and claustrophobic quarters, these sailors endured constant threats from depth charges, aircraft, and other anti-submarine warfare tactics. Exploration and preservation of U-boat wrecks continue to captivate historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching.